For a lot of customers, our system audits, one of the biggest benefits they have is that it lets us bring to their attention deficiencies with regards to safety when it comes to OSHA, but also combustible dust hazards as it relates to the NFPA standards or maybe insurance requirements for combustible dust. Many times we go to a facility, if they have combustible dust, they're usually aware of it already when we come. So it's not usually that we discover anything new there, but a lot of times plants have incomplete protection strategies in place. And I say incomplete with regards to what's required by NFPA standards or the local fire marshal, for example, or incomplete in the sense of not providing full optimal protection for protecting their equipment. In either case, whatever the main reason is you want to upgrade things, our system audits will identify that. So for example, we recently were at a manufacturer that makes things out of wood, and we identified a few systems where they have a FlameX system, so they have a spark detection and extinguishing system, and then they had explosion venting on their baghouses. They asked us to review it. Well, we were able to identify that they only have 2 of a number of things that are usually required by the NFPA. So they had, because they were recirculating the air back into the building, they did not have any sort of explosion isolation on either the inlet, the dirty air going to the baghouse, nor on the clean air return coming from the baghouse back to the building, which is a crucial requirement in the NFPA standards. They also had no fire protection for the air coming back into the building. They also did not have they had a rotary airlock. The rotary airlock they have is not NFPA compliant. It's not rated to withstand fires and explosions. So that was deficient. Also, we identified the fact that the distances between the baghouse and the building with the existing FlameX system we have were actually too short. So the FlameX system was not in compliance with the FlameX standard. So it wasn't going to basically catch the spark fast enough. So things like that we can find often when we come through doing our audits. We can identify perhaps other considerations that maybe they've overlooked. One that comes to mind is a plant that had a dust collection system that was installed correctly, handling combustible dust. And they thought it was good, but they had overlooked the fact that they had pointed the explosion vents on the baghouse directly at another silo that contained combustible materials. So had anything happened, the baghouse would have been protected and worked correctly, but they would have had a vent that opened and shot a big flame ball right on another silo that had combustible dust in it. They weren't aware that that's how that would work. They thought only potentially a pressure wave would go out. So we're able to identify those kinds of problems, larger scale things. We might also identify ways that they can have a more comprehensive approach on multiple systems that makes more sense. So perhaps instead of having so many active systems, perhaps active chemical explosion isolation or active sprinkler systems, they might be able to switch to more passive systems like isolation valves, CO2 systems. They don't require constant recharging, inspections, annual inspections, things like that. So when we go through, we're always looking for the practical on the operations side, but the fire safety, combustible dust stuff, that's always in our minds too. And we're able to give a comprehensive thing. Because many times, fixing a practical problem removes a problem from combustible dust. For example, a major hazard that gets overlooked, but is nonetheless called out extensively in NFPA literature and other literature about combustible dust, is the hazard of having material that builds up in the ductwork or storing material in your baghouse. So that's not really a what device do I install, that's a I need to run my baghouse well. So by having us out, we can identify, yes, you have the valves in place, the vents, but because you're not running the baghouse correctly, or it's too small, or you don't change the filters enough, or whatever it is, you're having slow airflow in the ductwork, or material that is building up in the ductwork, creating a massive hazard for you there. So we're often able to include those practical yet related to combustible dust issues in our audits, or discover them in our audits, and then include them in our final reports to our customers.